Every single day in America, about 2,400 couples sign divorce papers. Let that number breathe. That is one divorce finalized roughly every 36 seconds, faster than brewing your morning coffee. Now, I have been married for 47 years, so trust me, I am not here to judge anyone. I am here because the data tells a story most wedding speeches conveniently leave out. So let us talk about love and why it breaks. The American Psychological Association reports that 40 to 50% of first marriages end in divorce. 42%, to be more precise. Nearly half. Think about your neighborhood block. If 10 couples live on your street, 4 of them will not make it. Statistically guaranteed. But here is the part nobody mentions at dinner parties. Second marriages fail at 60%. And third marriages? 73%. The more experienced we get, the worse we perform. It is like failing your driving test and deciding the solution is to buy a faster car. Now I promised you real reasons, not greeting card wisdom. So let us start with the biggest one. Money. The number one predictor of divorce in America is not infidelity. It is financial stress. A study from Kansas State University tracked over 4,500 couples over 5 years. Financial disagreements were the single strongest predictor of divorce. Stronger than any other kind of conflict. Not arguments about children, not housework, not intimacy. Money fights are the most toxic. And it is not because couples are poor. Wealthy couples divorce over money too. It is about control. When one partner earns significantly more, a power imbalance forms. Resentment grows like mold behind wallpaper. The Federal Reserve found that 36% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency. Imagine that kind of pressure inside a marriage. Every unexpected bill becomes a fight waiting to happen. My wife and I fought about money in our first decade. Fiercely. We almost did not survive it. But we learned something. The issue was never the money itself. It was that we never learned to talk about it. Which brings me to the second great marriage killer. Communication. Or rather, the absence of it. Dr. John Gottman at the University of Washington studied thousands of couples over 4 decades. He can predict with 94% accuracy whether a couple will divorce. 94%. And his method is devastatingly simple. He watches how they argue, not what they argue about. He identified 4 toxic communication patterns. He calls them the Four Horsemen of Divorce. First, criticism. Not complaining about behavior, but attacking your partner's character. There is a huge difference. Second, defensiveness. Meeting every complaint with a counterattack instead of listening. A reflex that destroys trust. Third, stonewalling. Shutting down completely, walking away, going silent, the emotional equivalent of slamming a vault door. And fourth, the deadliest, contempt. Eye-rolling, sarcasm, mockery. Gottman says contempt is the single greatest predictor. When you look at your partner with contempt, you are no longer seeing a human being. You are seeing an enemy. Now here is what makes this international. These patterns are not uniquely American. They appear everywhere. Belgium has a 52% divorce rate, Portugal 69%, Spain 55%. America is not even the worst. Meanwhile, India has a divorce rate of about 1%. 1. Does that mean Indian marriages are happier? Not necessarily. Low divorce rates often reflect social stigma and lack of financial independence, especially for women. A cage with a locked door does not mean the bird inside is singing. Sometimes it just means the door is locked. Let us move to something people whisper about, but rarely examine honestly. Infidelity. The Institute for Family Studies found that about 16% of married Americans have had an extramarital affair. 20% of married men and 13% of married women reported being unfaithful at some point. But here is the twist most people miss. Infidelity is cited as the cause in only about 20% of divorces, meaning 80% of marriages that fail for reasons that have nothing to do with cheating. Often infidelity is the symptom, not the disease. People do not stray from happy marriages. They stray from lonely ones, which leads to the third silent killer: unmet expectations. And America breeds expectations like nowhere else on earth. We are the culture that invented the romantic comedy, the fairy tale ending, the soulmate myth. We expect our spouse to be our best friend, our therapist, our co-parent, our business partner, and our lover. Psychologist Finkel calls this the all or nothing marriage. We ask one person to fulfill every human need, and when they inevitably cannot, we do not think the expectation was wrong. We think the person was wrong. In 1960, the average American married at 20. Today it is 30. We wait longer, expect more, and tolerate less. Scandinavian countries have high divorce rates too, but their social safety nets mean divorce does not mean financial ruin. In America, divorce often means poverty, especially for women. The average woman's income drops 20% after divorce. So some people stay in terrible marriages not because of love, but because they literally cannot afford to leave. Now I want to talk about something uncomfortable: the role of technology, specifically smartphones. A study in the journal Computers and Human Behavior found that increased phone use correlates with decreased relationship satisfaction. They call it phubbing, phone snubbing, ignoring your partner to scroll through your device. We all do it. Dating apps created an illusion of infinite choice. When your current relationship hits a rough patch, the alternatives are one swipe away. The paradox of choice. Barry Schwartz warned us, more options do not make us happier. They make us doubt every decision. Now let me be honest with you, because everything I have said so far has a counter-argument. Some researchers argue that the divorce rate is actually declining. Among college-educated Americans, it has dropped significantly since the 1980s. The peak was around 1980. Since then, the rate has fallen almost 30%. So maybe things are improving. But here is the catch. Fewer people are getting married in the first place. The marriage rate itself has been halved since 1970. So divorce rates drop partly because the people most likely to divorce are simply choosing not to marry at all. And I must acknowledge this. Not every divorce is a failure. Some divorces are acts of incredible courage. Leaving an abusive relationship is not failure. Choosing your mental health is not failure. Protecting your children is not failure. The World Health Organization estimates that 1 in 3 women worldwide experience intimate partner violence. For them, divorce is liberation. So the question is not really why marriages fail. The better question is what we expect marriage to be. Are we looking for a partner or a savior? A companion or a completion? The answer changes everything. My grandmother once told me something I never forgot. She said marriage is not a noun. It is a verb. You do not have a marriage. You do marriage. Every single day. It is a choice you make each morning. 2 cups of coffee on the same table every morning. That is not habit. That is a decision. The data tells us marriages fail because of money, communication, expectation, and loneliness. But data does not tell the whole story. Because behind every statistic is a person who once stood at an altar and meant every word of their vow. So I will not tell you how to save your marriage. That is not my place. But I will ask you one thing. When was the last time you looked at your partner and truly saw them? Not the role, not the routine. Them. Tell me in the comments. I will read every single one. because this conversation is far too important to have alone.